How would you like to learn a feedback technique that would take your relationship to the next level? That's the intention of this video from my blog at www.letmagichappen.com. I'm Dr. Larry Burke, author of Let Magic Happen, Adventures in Healing with a Holistic Radiologist. The feedback technique is actually described in chapters 12 and 18 of my book, but I'm here today with my wife Dagmar Ealing, who's a Chinese herbalist and acupuncturist, to demonstrate it for you.
And we learned this technique about 10 years ago at the Legacy Center here in the Triangle in North Carolina, and we've been using it ever since.
And many people think that the most important 7 words in a relationship are I love you and I love you too, but that often is just said reflexively and lacks the kind of day-to-day impact that you want it to have. We feel that another 7 words are also important and might be more important, and that's may I give you some feedback, and then yes.
So we're going to be demonstrating this technique, and essentially we want to make sure that you can use this technique also within your relationships. And if the answer is yes, then you can have the opportunity to give your partner some authentic feedback. And if the answer is no, then you might need to revisit this issue at some later time.
So once you have permission, you can start by discussing what wasn't working in the relationship. Then the other partner can acknowledge what the breakdown was. Then you can both look for what the breakthrough is. And then once you've worked through that, you can then talk about what is working in the relationship, and then set powerful intentions to continue using it in the future. So Dagmar's going to start a demonstration with authentic real-world situations.
Okay, so may I give you some feedback?
Yes.
So we have a no shoe policy, no street shoe policy in the house, and I've noticed that you're observing that really well upstairs. But downstairs I've noticed that you're using street shoes, and that's not really working for me because we're exercising downstairs and we're laying on the floor and we're doing exercises downstairs, and I don't want to roll in dirt, and so that's not working for me. So
I hear what you're saying, and I do acknowledge my breakdown. I don't pay careful attention to taking shoes off in the basement. But I now see the value of doing that. Now we're exercising down there, so it makes sense to make sure I take the shoes off so we don't not rubbing our faces in the dirt down there while we're doing our push-ups. So,
exactly.
Okay, so
thank you. Good. But and at the same time, I'd like to acknowledge you for always making dinner when I have a long day at the clinic, and that's very helpful. So I don't, so you can have dinner is ready when I come home, and it's wonderful, and I feel really cared for and nurtured when you do that. So it's very sweet. Thank you.
I appreciate the opportunity to be in contribution. Okay, good. All right, so now it's my turn. So I will say, may I give you some feedback?
Yes.
Okay, I've noticed one thing that's not working is that after meals, when the pots are dirty, you have that clever idea of soaking them for a while, which is a good thing because it gets, loosens up all the food. However, they tend to soak for hours until the point where I just finally wind up doing them, and there seems to be some avoidance of the actual cleaning of the pots going on.
Got it. Okay. I acknowledge my breakdown. I hear what you're saying, and I am committed to soak a little less and get them done in a timely fashion, so that especially on the nights when you also make dinner, you don't also have to clean up the pots. So I will do better.
Thank you. Okay, I'm looking forward to that.
Cool.
So now I also like to acknowledge you for making protein shakes for both of us to have during the day out of fruits and vegetables from the garden, like figs and cucumbers that we grow ourselves, and that really helps to be able to have that during the day. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Okay, so now once we've sort of cleaned up all the energy in the relationship by using that feedback technique, we want to set some intentions for the future. So a basic one is just that we're going to use this feedback technique every night, especially before we go to sleep. Make sure we clean up all the energy before we go into bed, and when we wake up the next morning, ready to start anew.
Mm-hmm. And totally I'm aligned with that intention. And also, we would invite you to use this technique, this process as well, with your loved ones. And after setting, informing them of the process, and it's a very powerful process, and it really keeps the relationship authentic.
And just remember, always ask permission first. Don't just jump into the feedback part, because that's one of the only pitfalls in this approach. And we do feel that our relationships are our greatest teachers, so this is a great opportunity to use the challenges in your relationship to find the breakthrough after a breakdown. So thanks for listening. If you want more information, the outline of the technique is on the blog, and there's more information on the Legacy Center in the accompanying newsletter this month. And also, obviously, there's more information in the book as well. So thanks for listening, and let magic happen.